Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Mokono Man at YouTube with another model video. Unboxing, building and reviewing Prometheus-1 Imber from Idolmaster Xenoglossia by Kotobukiya Modlock line. Acquired in the early 2010s, cleared way below retail from a Japanese exporter. I mistakenly bought this thinking it was from another anime and know nothing about it. At box scale, as the runners are made to fit in a box, normally reserved for children or cheaper quality models, it contains two white polystyrene runners, incredibly thick runner sprues and parts, all articulated snap fits on ball joints. With incredibly small, overly cluttered and difficult to comprehend instructions. The model is intended to just use plastic nippers, cut the parts out and snap fit via the ball joints and sockets, making an affair no more than 10 minutes. We'll be building this with more traditional scale modelling techniques such as removing flash and nub marks, gluing some components together and reaming holes for a better fit. I've seen ball jointed puzzle kits before and generally unimpressed, and very concerned it was going to be an AliExpress, eBay-ish Chinese $2-5 humanoid kit with no challenge or detail to speak of. My hope in Kotobukiya making quality and very interesting challenging projects did pull through, and started enjoying and fascinated with the first assembly of the arms. Cleverly posed in an organic sitting resting position with unique, somewhat shallow, otherwise charming proportions and details. The flush nub placement and hollow voids are very jarring but shall be addressed later. The massive strengths of this build is the gimmicks of all the points of articulations and very fascinating joints and use of ball joints I've never seen before. Almost no butt or peg joints. I spent quite a while filing, cutting and sanding everything neatly, and the legs I opened the seam more to be a feature. Inside the torso was crazy cool and interesting, with two ball joints going inside and being the connecting point to sandwich the main circular cockpit torso component. I don't know, a strange horseshoe shape. The head had a cool shark-like flat head and gnarly UFO legs with 3-pronged toes on each limb. With the range of ball joint articulation, the motion is very flexible, even able to tilt small bits like the chest and crutch to very dynamic posing. Potential transformation if it's that sort of robot. Single colour but very fun and super excited to paint this up. The build snap was no challenge whatsoever, but the cleanup did take a little while and was very tedious. Detail on the plain side, but the proportions do look right to the reference material on the box and found online. As most of the components were single part and didn't require sandwiching or seam lines, with flash lines easily sanded on plain surfaces, several voids were found behind the toes of the feet, underneath the discs of the legs, under torso, inner part of arms and shoulders. It's very straightforward in sorting by mixing two parts putty, ramming it in there, leveling and sanding. Parts were sorted in 3 clusters, multiple colours, masking required and straight white, followed by mounting on alligator clips by the ball joints and stuck in perforated cardboard for easy access of paint. I was concerned for further imperfection and sink marks being thick parts, so I started by thinning down automotive lacquer primer and spraying each part to see what the damage was. To my surprise, greeted with a fairly smooth surface and ready for the next stage, allowing overnight for fully drying and chemical hardening. Process for the best adhesion, I moved to automotive lacquer paint and copy paint and started with undercoat, a couple of pieces silver and the rest black. These colours were custom mixed by Hammer Paints, a local manufacturer, based off the colour codes from Mr. Hobby Paint to save a bit of money. Areas I'm going to mask got a highlight of field military blue and highlights of a grey blue. All of these components were allowed to dry for another 24 hours. In line with the reference, certain parts were masked in the middle of the toes and the top of the shoulders, and all other surfaces was coated in a strong hairspray. In a few hours I built up a base coat as quickly as possible in 2 tones for the darker colours, again a field blue and a lighter blue, giving it about 30 seconds to dry, and a sharp knife I picked out paint chips and edge lines as if the mech has been through combat and scratched up a bit. All other parts were also hit with 2 tones of a very light grey and a middle grey. I was operating 2 compressors and 2 airbrushes simultaneously so I can go from one coat to the other rapidly. Each part was painted, stop, scratch it up and move to the next one. Small details such as the wrist, the hands, vents and details in the head face was hand painted. With the painting all concluded, further definition was to be added to this already fairly rustic scheme. My old favourite, I mixed some Tamiya accent colour with gum turpentine. It's slow drying and seeps into all the detail. Chose a sludge wash and covered everything, which settled in a lot of the scratches and damage in the paint chipping, as well as all the panels, detail and raised sections. Allowing this to all dry and harden over a few days, I switched to my homebrew clear automotive matte varnish and dulled everything in 2 coats. For a little extra, I got out my makeup kit and dusted on some dirt and earth on the lower legs and feet prongs, plus some lighter colours to whiten a little bit of the upper areas and the edges of the black shoulder and knees. I can't remember if I sampled the anime or not back in the day, and definitely have no interest or love for it now. It's also unknown if there is an active or existing fandom historically, or any other merchandise by that fact. What I do know is I've got this kit and it's pretty cool, gives me a Zone of the Enders sort of vibe feel to it. The mecha design is really cool and enjoyed this build. It makes me keen and excited for the other mode lock kits to experience, which I've got another 4 or 5 in the backlog. It's not the richest in detail and sits post vintage kits at a weird mono colour. A lot of work in finishing it, but not a lot of effort in building it. Unless lurking as dead stock on eBay or rotting away in a crusty second-hand Japanese hobby shop. Don't know if it can still be found or not, but is definitely a unique collector's piece that will require a lot of polish. Weathering it was definitely a good move and the right thing to do, but maybe not in the right tone with a singing, dancing, idol moe-like cartoon focused on the girls rather than the machines. But I don't respect the source material enough to care, so it doesn't matter in the end. Really good, very happy with it, very cool line, worth looking into it more, but I don't think this style of kit exists anymore. Besides some weird Chinese knockoff stuff I've seen around. That concludes the video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. Please check out the description section and the social medias if you feel inclined. A like and comment is always appreciated. I answer all questions, and we'll catch you guys next time. Definitely with more unique and non-Gundam models coming soon. See you later.